recently went on Reddit and I was like, how could I improve the world a little bit more? Maybe by answering a few questions. The thing is, there were these questions that I just looked up, basically, and then I got these suggestions, and they were about dreams. The questions basically were like, what does it mean if I dream about? And here is what I basically answered. First, dreams don't really mean anything because meaning is just something we basically post. So basically after the fact, just interpret. We interpret meaning into things, but the things inherently do not have really a meaning, and it's the same with dreams. I mean, our life, for example, doesn't really have a meaning. It's just that it's already there, and therefore we think like, but it has to have a meaning. And then we are like, yeah, but it could be about this and about improving other people's lives, and it doesn't have to be. It's just there. That's all there is. So now, the thing is, what does it mean when I dream about my mother, for example, appearing, even though she's dead? The thing is, it doesn't mean anything, but that's of course not really a fulfilling answer. So therefore, I dug a little bit deeper into psychology and also into the things we already know about dreaming. What do we already know about dreaming? There are a few different theories about dreaming. So basically, one theory is that the brain actually has to recover, and this seems to be true to a certain extent, so it's a recovery period for the brain. Also, a huge part of it seems to be that the brain basically optimizes itself overnight. For example, if you ever thought about a problem really hard the day before, and then you woke up and suddenly had the solution, then this means that the brain basically is like a personal assistant that works on solutions also when you are out of office, basically sleeping. And this is a nice thing. So this is also something the brain does when sleeping. But of course, it's also not really answering the questions, but much more circumventing, circumgoing, whatever the word is, the question. The real answer, of course, is that it doesn't mean anything, but that's also not really answering the questions. Therefore, I dug a little bit deeper into what actually triggers dreams. Is something called the REM state. The REM state is basically a state of rapid eye. So this is not going to work, therefore I just begin again. Rapid eye movement. The thing about the rapid eye movement is this. The eyes move very rapidly. That's why these phases are called REM phases. We have two different phases of REM 1 and REM 2. And we also have other phases in sleep. But the thing is, in the REM phases, these are the phases where we actually dream. So now, what does it mean? What does it all mean when we dream? Dreams can be seen as a byproduct of all the things our brain does when sleeping. When we sleep, byproduct. Therefore, we could say the dreams are just a byproduct. We could also say the dreams maybe are like an adventure for us, something we can actually learn from. But that's of course only an interpretation again. The byproduct is more like the scientific answer to this, the actual factual answer, but the adventure is like, yeah, well, it's like a movie, basically, but made for us, made for our needs, made with our fears, with our feelings, with our emotions. The thing is, now we will take a look into how the content of a dream comes to exist. And here is what I noticed over the years. Basically, since I was really interested in dreaming, I wanted to display dreaming, but right now I didn't have like a proper image, so therefore I just am making up a bed right now, and there's the blankets, and this is the dude, and he's dreaming about things. Now, what I realized over the years, so basically what I did is first, try to remember my dreams. Second is write them down, and third, read them again and try to notice if anything seems to be outstanding. Very outstanding. an outstanding dream. No, the thing is, I try to see if I could notice anything, similarities in between the dreams, maybe, in order to maybe go lucid dreaming. But that's a different kind of story. Lucid dreaming is basically being awake while dreaming. Of course, you kind of are awake while dreaming, but the thing is, you just don't remember it, and you also don't realize you're dreaming. So it's not about being awake while dreaming, but much more about realizing that you are dreaming, and then and having realized you are dreaming, you can basically do anything in a dream, since it's a dream and it's basically a virtual reality provided by your own brain, and therefore you can do everything you ever wanted. And this is basically 1/3 of your life. Not really 1/3, because the REM states are not really all the sleep states, but much less than that. So how about the content? What about the content of the dream? What I realized over the years is pretty much this. Whenever I dreamt about certain things, then I could basically take a look at the recent days and be like, oh yeah, so I saw this TV ad, and in this TV ad there was like some random dude, like, let's call him Arnold Schwarzenegger, and therefore Arnold Schwarzenegger, yeah, this is like one thing. And then I also like felt very emotional about I don't know, something. I really cannot make up an example right now. So I felt really emotional about something, and then I also got to know new people, and then I dreamt about all these things together, and then I dreamt about something that just combined all these things. It seems like your brain has like a working memory, and whenever this brain working memory, so basically the content of the dream, so the working memory is kind of existing out of all the things you experienced, multiplied, so factorized, basically not factorized, but you experience things. That's the first part. You experience things like thinking already, but also external stimuli with reality, for example. Another thing is, sometimes things seem more important. For example, if your hair burns, that seems more important than if somebody in soccer wins. So therefore we have also an importance factor. We call it I. So now we have experience over time multiplied by I. Now the thing is, all these things we experience, like the TV ad with Arnold Schwarzenegger, like this thing and this thing, these are all in our brain, in kind of the pool of the things we experienced the last days, the last weeks maybe, but usually it's the last days. So what I would urge you to do, if you really want to find out more about yourself, but also about what does it mean when I dream about this, try to just remember, or try to just find out. It's basically like a big puzzle. Every dream you can remember is like a big puzzle. And what I experienced is I can pretty much analyze the dream and then be like, oh yeah, so I had this dream about this random elephant who appeared in the fridge, and therefore, I probably needed to buy a fridge. Therefore I thought about fridges in the last time, and also I shopped and I looked for the best fridge on eBay and on Amazon. And then I also saw this documentary where elephants were really important, and they are kind of, elephants. Now, and also I thought about the kitchen, because I wanted to renovate the kitchen, because the kitchen I live in is like, this is just a random example, it doesn't mean anything, and this is not a dream I had, because I cannot remember any dream I had. But then you can pretty much be like, oh yeah, there's the kitchen, and there's this thing, and therefore there's the elephant appearing. So now, what does it mean if this random elephant is appearing in your fridge? Probably not much of anything, and that's the point, but you can still find out how it came to be, and maybe find out about yourself more, and what was actually important, and if things actually were more important to you than you actually realized, for example.